All right, you guys, welcome you out right here. This is Jody Rexon, right here with the exclamation point. We're going to go into the eye. Do not be afraid of the eye at the top of the pyramid, you guys, because that is where the power lies. It has been taken away from us, the people, and it has been given to the few. And what we're going to do is we're going to move around. This is my first show. I apologize if things don't work out right. It hasn't been for 10 tries now because I'm trying to use the OBS as well as some other programs. So don't be afraid of what you see up top. That's just a reminder of the power you have. It's been stolen from you from thousands of years ago. We're going to move on ahead, you guys. This first thing I'm going to play is very important. Just take a listen to this. This is Bob Proctor with the Law of Vibration. That is from The Secret and the Law of Attraction. Right here, Bob Proctor.
If you choose an idea and you place it in here, instantly and automatically, you move this thing called a body, which is nothing but a mass of energy, into a new vibration. That causes it to act different. You see, the action is caused by the vibration. If you're entertaining a negative idea, and this is the emotional mind, by the way, and you let yourself get emotionally involved in the negative idea, you instantly move your body into a negative vibration. There can be no intelligent action come from a negative vibration, ever. Let's become aware when we're not feeling good, when we're not doing the things that give us the results we want, we are emotionally involved with a destructive concept that we put in here ourselves. Let's consciously and deliberately build a positive idea, get emotionally involved with the positive idea, and simultaneously we move into a positive vibration. Everything changes.
Because if you don't, then what happens is there are the powers that be that take over. David Wilcock speaks about this, and how we're tricked on a multi-level overthrow. In our minds, in our faces, we've been given these boxes to stare at, and it's only until recently we haven't been paying attention to what's going on. But speaking about the powers and believing and becoming what you think about on a day-by-day basis, this has been used against you for thousands of years. David Wilcock talks about how the cabal has no chance left because we're starting to figure out these things, but this is what's been happening. Take a listen to this.
What really is going on here is that we have massive, massive creative power. Our thoughts actually do manifest reality. So the rules are that they use two components, imagination and will. They seed our imagination with a particularly desired thought form, and then they create events that fire our will into that thought form to actualize it. Now, let me give you an example because this might not make any sense. Okay, they seed the imagination, let's say, with the idea that guns kill people, guns are bad. Therefore, we take away all the guns and nobody's ever going to die again. Everything's going to be great. Then, in order to actualize our will, they've seeded that thought form, gun control, gun control, gun control. But they are not going to lose their guns. And how do we know that we can trust them, especially after the Snowden disclosures, where we have the open admission that there is an international cabal that is actually spying on all of our electronic communications? We can't trust them to be able to use that responsibly. They're not getting a warrant, they're not getting a court order, they are doing bulk collection, which means they grab everybody's data, everything that we put out there electronically, they have all of it. If at any point in the future you are suspected of a probable crime, they can go back through extrajudicially and access everything you've ever said and done. And even if you just so happen to accidentally click on a link on a web page that you know, I've done it, sometimes your finger hits the button, you didn't intend it, you loaded that web page, and it's this, let's say it's a hate site of some kind. Now they can say, well, look, you know, David Wilcock went and accessed this hate site. Clearly, we can now establish that he was into this stuff. So let's go back to the example of gun control now. The first stage with imagination is that they tell you guns kill people, therefore take away the guns. Then they create a fake event, a mass shooting, which is staged. They already have the emergency crews on hand. They already have the whole thing lined up. The cover-up is already in place. They manage the event. They control the media. They black out people's cell phones. People don't understand why they're not getting a signal. It's an EMP block. This is the kind of stuff they actually do. So nobody can be taking pictures and filming it while it's happening. Then the event happens and everybody's traumatized, and then they release the coded phrase. They say, guns are the problem, guns are the reason why these people died, therefore we need to take away the guns. And then everybody says, oh yes, thank God. Take away all the guns, this will never happen again. Every single fascist overthrow of a country in history started with some form of confiscation of the tools that the people had to protect themselves, whether it was guns or other forms of weaponry. They make it illegal to have defensive tools. And that is why the Founding Fathers of the United States of America, written right into the Constitution, the Second Amendment, is that you have the right to bear arms, because they knew about the cabal in its British form in the 1700s.
And even more importantly, he goes into how the cabal got started.
Higher-ranking cabal members.
Back here.
Because they are
Let's just move back a little bit, because this is good. David Wilcock. Sorry, guys, my first one. Hey, they'll get better or they'll get worse. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? But
sure. And
before we go into this, I'm going to move over to somebody I think you guys need to check out. This is Alpa Soni, and I give out a lot of appreciation to Alpa Soni. She got me the motivation I needed at a time where, you guys, I could not mash the button. I have so much information that it'll take me 2 years to even get started. I've been on this journey for quite some time now, and I suffered just like anybody else from cognitive dissonance, the world that I live in, and the self-worth and the shame that they make you feel. You're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, yet you keep doing it, whether that be eating fatty food, sugary food, speeding down the road. There's multiple things that you can do for cognitive dissonance, and they push it on you, and they've been pushing on you since school time. So this is Alpa Soni speaking a little bit about how she feels towards everything that's going on with the cabal right now.
It's a lonely journey, but in a good way, because I find now I can only take so much of other people's energies, because there is this disparity between where people are at and what I can sort of personally cope with, because I'm learning myself to ground every day and protect and conserve my energy. Because before, with the empathic nature that I have, I would be absorbing people's energies, and I didn't have an understanding about all this parasitic cords and the aura is protecting your aura from all these negative entities that can latch onto you if you're of low vibration. So along the way, I learned watching YouTube videos and listening to sort of people talk, and having had the blessings, should I say, for some amazing healers and spiritual people that I've had the blessings to have these chats with, and for them to explain to me what goes on with stuff that you can't actually see. So it's this mysticism that I found very fascinating, and understanding that yes, this energy, when you feel drained around certain people, when you feel uplifted around certain people. So I started this journey of trying to manage myself around being okay and protected wherever I go.
And all of us suffer from it too. And it's just like she's speaking of, there is an energy, there is a aura that's going on. Each individual person has it, but you have it as a group. You have it as a country, as a, demographic area on the planet. There is a light, there is an overall stigma that's attached to this aura. So they try to break you down. They try to make you change it, group off into pairs, go over here and go over there. That way, if they split you up, you're easily more dominated in that point. And I'm just going to move forward here and give a little bit more of Alpa Soni. This is with Dr. Charlie Ward, and this is where I first discovered Alpa. And like I said, I give it all to her. She's done a lot to help me get on, and I absolutely had no clue what I was going to do. I still don't know. All I know is I'm hitting the button. I'm going to get out into the air some of the things that I've been thinking about, where they come from, how they happened, and Dr. Charlie Ward and Alpa Soni happen to be the first two as far as me listening to what's been going on with the administration and the world politics right now. Also, Alex Jones had gotten me there, and you can say what you want to say about the guy, but if you choose not to listen to someone because you don't agree with them, or if you say that they're crazy because you don't agree with them, then that's dismissive, and it's the wrong way to think. So here's Alpa Soni and Dr. Charlie Ward.
You know, when all of this truth comes out, I don't want it to be a huge shock to their system, because there's some not very nice things that have been happening, have they, Charlie? So the aim is to keep the vibrations high, and, you know, while we are in the truth community is saying things like, you know, there's a lot of sheeples and sheep mentality. I think I prefer to call them sleepers. You know, we want to keep our vibrations high in love and light, and say that, look, the things that are happening are not right, and everything. So my intention is to say that everything that I've been saying on my Facebook posts and stuff, everything is connected to the children.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I remember when I was a child, because I grew up in this religious cult, and when I was at school, I was an outsider. So I was very much like the people that are asleep right now. I was asleep to what was really going on, and my parents kept me asleep to what was going on.
Yeah.
And then when I got to 12 years old, they gave me whiskey as a 12-year-old because I'd become a man. And that then gave me the edge on the kids in school. And that's what's happening right now. The mainstream media are giving out whiskey, if you like, to the public to convince them that they're right, and they're not. They're giving and they're putting it into sport. You know, the Black Lives Matter movement in football, in motor racing. If they had any concept of what it was really about, they'd step well away from it.
That's exactly right, and I just want to keep things moving. Don't know if I'm on a time limit or not, but another thing I had picked up was the knowledge of forever time. You guys check this out.
Then enlightenment, an opening of the mind, and ascendance to a higher state of being. And although this knowledge comes to us from the land of Egypt, there is an ancient confirmation of this truth in the most unlikely place you could ever imagine. The United States of America. The universe is a multiverse with varying dimensions, and it is teeming with endless possibilities. The universe also holds the key to every question we have ever had about life and the afterlife. Within the universe is the origin of man, the origin of life, and the origin of God. And yet to understand the universe is to become one with it. And this is not easy to do, especially for a human.
All right, you guys, going to keep moving along. This is Charlie Freak and Alpa Soni.
Fair enough. And to be fair, you know, it's heavy stuff. However, with what you're saying with everything with Ruth Bader, and then, you know, funneling it down to Freemasonries that are running these institutions, as well as the academic institutions, you know, this is in plain sight, people. You know, Charlie cannot make it clearer that we are dealing with mass deception, and we are attacked at every level. We don't have the democracy that we think we do. We're being deceived at every single level, and without it being all doom and gloom, this is the reality. And once you get to understand this, that this is happening, Charlie's saying something very important here, everyone, that our children are being stolen from us right under our noses, and in these acts of horrific, heinous crimes, right? Horrible.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yeah, it is. I talk about it, and then you're talking about it, and I just have to go within and ground myself again, because it makes me so angry. And then if I'm angry, I'm not helping anyone. I need to stay out of Righteous anger is good, because righteous anger is for a few seconds, a few minutes, and then it dissipates. But just to constantly, have to deal with these things and be in anger, I'm not helping anyone. I can't stay there, so I have to ground myself again.
But if we all come together and we all seek out to find the information that's going on and get it out there, that's how we win. That's how we really come together and help people. And you've just got to, you find something you think strikes you in a certain way, get it out to the world. Make a channel, talk to the people in public. Doesn't matter if you're liked, if you're disliked. You'd be surprised what people think about you when you realize just how less they actually think about you. They don't think about you like you think they do. That's a narcissistic way of thinking. You want to help somebody out? Talk to people. There's things going on, and they're devastating.
Because the media can't deny this information. They can just try to call it disinformation without ever actually addressing it, because this information will bring down not just the Bidens, but the entire deep state.
And when you look at these photographs that are disgusting and horrible, the Chinese have every single one of them. The Chinese have every single one of them, probably 10 times more. Because what the Chinese government has been doing, and a country was totally undefended against this, is setting Biden up, putting him in a position where he's totally compromised. They've now given him so much money, he's totally compromised. They now have pictures of his son doing things that I can't describe, some of which are illegal.
And some could say that you were acting like Christopher Steele, that you were abstracting information, and because
you got to be kidding me. I was acting like Christopher Steele.
That's what it sounds like when you look at the people.
You better apologize for that. I mean, I've been a United States Attorney, Associate Attorney General, Mayor of New York City, and a member of the bar for 50 years. I've never been accused of anything, and you're accusing me of being Christopher Steele?
I'm accusing you of
That's
acting in a capacity similar to Christopher Steele, and that you were going back and forth between
similar to
Ukraine
an obstruction of justice
and the United States.
What you are saying is an outrageous defamation of me, of my reputation. Every single thing is here, and I want you to look at it, and then you apologize to me.
Look at it.
Well, you can come to my office and you can look at it, and tomorrow night you can apologize to me for saying I'm like Christopher Steele. I told you they were underage.
All right, guys, we're going to keep rolling along right here. I'm doing a little
Girls
something back behind
there are.
Know that,
I told you there are.
That it's legal to do on YouTube, but I've been doing it for quite some time, and it's nothing illegal. It's just, I think they call them SIGs, they call them puffers, and you probably shouldn't be doing it. I definitely shouldn't be doing it on video. So we're going to keep moving along. Get a little bit of David Icke right here. Get you some.
If you are wishing to subjugate a massive number of people, and you are a few, and at the core this cult is tiny, then you have to divide and rule the target population. You have to get the target population, here we go, current events, to police itself. People laugh at sheep following the shepherd and then running away from the sheepdog, symbolic of fear. But humanity's become so manipulated that it's dispensed with the sheepdog.
That's exactly right. We follow and look up to these people that are running amok like demons, and it's disgusting, and I think that it's time to finish this up, and we're going to finish it up with a little bit more of Alpa Soni, and then we are going to move into George Carlin.
Something happens, like these heart palpitations. I was like, oh, this feels great. What's this about?
Yeah.
So we're all finding our own way, Mark, and there is, like I said, everyone's doing it in their own time.
And I appreciate Alpa Soni, again, giving me the go-ahead to make a reaction video, get it out there, and just hit the button, like she says. And I appreciate you giving me the oomph that I needed. I really do. It meant a lot to me. We're going to finish up with George Carlin talking about some germs, you guys. Let's hear it.
Besides, what do you think you have an immune system for? It's for killing germs. But it needs practice. It needs germs to practice on. So if you kill all the germs around you and live a completely sterile life, then when germs do come along, you're not gonna be prepared. And never mind ordinary germs. What are you gonna do when some super virus comes along that turns your vital organs into liquid shit? I'll tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna get sick, you're gonna die, and you're gonna deserve it because you're fucking weak and you got a fucking weak immune system. Now, I'm going to tell you a true story about immunization. When I was a little boy in New York City in the 1940s, we swam in the Hudson River, and it was filled with raw sewage. Okay? We swam in raw sewage. You know, to cool off. And at that time, the big fear was polio. Thousands of kids died from polio every year. But you know something? In my neighborhood, no one ever got polio. No one, ever. You know why? 'Cause we swam in raw sewage. It strengthened our immune systems. The polio never had a prayer. We were tempered in raw shit. So personally, I never take any special precautions against germs. I don't shy away from people who sneeze and cough. I don't wipe off the telephone. I don't cover the toilet seat. And if I drop food on the floor, I pick it up and eat it. I eat it, even if I'm at a sidewalk cafe. In Calcutta, the poor section, on New Year's morning during a soccer riot. And you know something? In spite of all of that so-called risky behavior, I never get infections, folks. I just don't get them. I don't get colds, I don't get flu, I don't get food poisoning, and I don't get headaches or upset stomachs. And you know why? 'Cause I got a good, strong immune system, and it gets a lot of practice. My immune system is equipped with the biological equivalent of fully automatic military assault rifles with night vision and laser scopes. And we have recently acquired phosphorus grenades, cluster bombs, and anti-personnel fragmentation mines. So, when my white blood cells are on patrol, reconnoitering my bloodstream, seeking out strangers and other undesirables, if they see any suspicious-looking germs of any kind, they don't fuck around. They whip out the weapons, wax the motherfucker, and deposit the unlucky fellow directly into my colon. Directly into my colon. There's no nonsense. There's no Miranda warning. There's none of that 3 strikes and you're out shit. First offense, bam, into the colon you go. And speaking of my colon, I want you to know I don't automatically wash my hands every time I go to the bathroom. Can you deal with that? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. You know when I wash my hands? When I shit on them. That's the only time. And you know how often that happens? Tops. 2-3 times a week. Tops. Maybe a little more frequently over the holidays. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you something else, my well-scrubbed friends. You don't always need a shower every day. Did you know that? It's overkill. Unless you work out, or work outdoors, or for some reason come in intimate contact with huge amounts of filth and garbage every day, you don't always need a shower. All you really need to do is to wash the 4 key areas: armpits, asshole, crotch, and teeth. Got that? The hooker's bath. Armpits, asshole, crotch, and teeth. In fact, you can save yourself a whole lot of time if you simply use the same brush on all 4 areas.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you, and I will be reading all the comments. And like I said, you guys, please take it easy on me, because this is my first show. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, and that's how you get it done.